That's the main point for me to start on, is that I can't believe it's been a year. Are you one of these people like me that like think time flies all the time? Because
2021 has gone very fast. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I don't know. I picked up this console on day one, and I love doing that. And it's crazy that's already been.
Did you pre-order it?
Oh yeah.
Was it okay? Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a fun
mistake of not pre-ordering.
Yes, absolutely. That's one of my favorite things. That's even worth touching on briefly at the start, is just that they had that showcase. They had two showcases prior to releasing the console. The first one where they revealed the design. The second where they revealed the price and date. And both had lots of cool games and stuff. But the one where they did the price and date, and pre-orders went live. I think it was 6 in the morning, I want to say, 6:30 in the morning, whatever it was.
Did the service crash or something?
Yeah, well, a lot of places were struggling. Yeah. That's always the story with those things. But don't worry, your boy was there. Your boy was on it. I was successful, long story short, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, man. But
you're one of the lucky ones.
People still can't find it.
High demand, but not enough supply, I suppose.
Yeah, and they're dealing with all those chip shortages and all those dilemmas at the moment. Yeah. But that's honestly not something I would have predicted necessarily.
No, yeah, you'd think they'd be more prepared for the massive influx of, well, I guess there are a lot of pre-orders and people that just wanted to walk into like EB Games and pick one up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like any other store that sells any form of electronics.
So you can't
really
get it
prepared for that.
No, you can't. No, not at any of these
people
places
keep refreshing the sites.
But the craziest thing about it is that I never would have predicted that. Like I think I even made, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember anything I did, but if I made a video at the start of the year, I think I said in it that I think the PS5 would be available, like in terms of walking into a store by September or something. I was totally wrong, if that's what I said.
You were way off.
Way off. And by the looks of things, with how some of these companies are talking, like it honestly is probably going to be another 12 months until that happens. Which is fun. But the other crazy thing about that, though, is that this console is selling faster than PS4 did in the same time, which is very, very interesting. PS4 had no supply constraints at the time, and this console is outpacing it. So, we can say that, they're impossible to find all we want, but the fact of the matter is more of them exist than did PS4's 12 months after PS4 came out. So it's sort of this weird thing, isn't it? I'm going to ask you straight up the most basic question, the most, I think, easy. Yeah, it just has to be said at the top, right? The PlayStation 5, we have it in our homes. Well, you don't technically right now, but...
Not technically, no.
Let's, for the sake of this, say you do, right?
I own one, but I don't possess one at the moment.
You have had one in your home for some time.
Yes.
Do you like the way that thing looks?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's
okay. All right.
I don't really care what the console looks like, honestly, as long as it does its function. So
yeah.
I think it's fine. The controllers are nice. The controllers are a big step up from the PS4 DualSense. I like the fact, or the little detail, that there's little X's, squares, triangles, and circles on the console and the controllers. It's very nice.
Yes, that's a great call.
It's a very sleek design, aerodynamic. I don't know why it would need to be aerodynamic.
No,
someone's throwing it down the highway at 100 k's per hour, but it works. I don't really know.
Sure. No, that take of it, just, I don't care what my console looks like, is a common one, Yeah. I agree to an extent, like the way a console looks, like I notice it is a factor to me, It's a factor in terms of I pay attention to it. I like, you know, every day I walk past my console, I like looking at it. I like admiring it, you know. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So it is a factor, but it's not a factor in terms of like making the purchase, you know. It's not like, oh, that thing's ugly, so therefore I won't buy it. You know, it'd have to be the most travesty. It'd have to be the biggest travesty of all time in hardware design for me to not purchase it for that reason, you know.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But in terms of the design, you know, like I don't love it. I think I've grown to like it a bit more, you know. Like my biggest thing with it is that, you know, it's loud, it's very obvious in a room, you know.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I like that as a thought process and a direction they went for with that. But it's just, and I just keep saying this over and over again, and I'll probably continue to say it over and over again. It's enormous. Why is it so big? You know,
it does consume a lot of space. Do you have any other consoles that would like compete for space with it? Because I had to move my PS4 to make room for the PS5.
No doubt.
To like,
yeah.
Not a completely other room. I just moved it because I didn't feel the need to play the PlayStation 4 anymore, so I just put it in like a spare room, and then moved it back when the PS5 was shipped off.
I think a lot of people would have to do any number of things like that. A lot of people would be having to maneuver their appliances and stuff and their entertainment setups to accommodate this thing. Because I know that the way my PS4 used to sit next to my Wii U, and that would be they'd fit together perfectly fine. Zero chance of that happening. Zero. You know, the PS5 takes up that entire space now.
Yeah.
So, but the Wii U can be substituted for anything. You know, there's wherever two consoles could have easily sat. Not anymore. And it's this crazy thing where, like, I don't like moving around my consoles. You know, like I know some people like traveling with them. I'm not up for that really. But last year, you know, when I think it was when I got the PS5, like I unplugged my PS4 and I was sort of holding it for the first time, sort of moving around and just carrying it around. And actually, I was sort of like, dude, this thing's pretty light, and this thing's like pretty, like I'm not saying I would, you know, be taking this in a suitcase every week, but like I feel like if I wanted to, like that'd be totally fine, and it could fit in basically every suitcase, and it's super easy to carry around. It's just that straight, easy shape. The PS5 is not. Did
you have a Slim or a Pro or just a base model? What did you have?
I had a base. What about you?
Yeah, I had a base that got stolen 2016, and then got a Slim after that.
The Slim came out that year. That's perfect timing.
Yeah. Perfect timing to get robbed. Yeah.
There's always a perfect time to get robbed, isn't there?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So I can't remember what the base one, the exact heft of the base one.
The sort of on the same vein of where we're keeping our consoles, do you have yours vertical or horizontal?
Horizontal.
Interesting.
I feel like it'd take less space vertically, but where I put it, it can only really go horizontally.
Yeah, cool. No, I'm the same. I put it horizontal. I feel like it's always presented vertically, isn't it? Like in every promotional thing you see, I feel like that's sort of the way. I feel like it looks cooler vertical, you know? I guess that's where the router comparisons come from.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know. It's just more convenient horizontal, I feel like, because I prefer it to take up, like, I've used the word horizontal like 3 times in the past minute, but I prefer it to take up horizontal space rather than like vertical space, because I have more, again, horizontal space as opposed to I'm trying to think of like synonyms for
that's right.
Horizontal and vertical, but there's like nothing.
I mean, I don't want to. We'll get into the UI and those other things.
Sure.
How often do you put your console in rest mode? Like, how do you use it? Are you turning it off? Are you putting it in rest mode?
I put it in rest mode specifically for downloads, and then when nothing's downloading, I shut it off.
Got it.
That is how I do things. I find that, like, well, it's not like I don't find it efficient or effective or anything. It's just how I've done it for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I put in rest mode when I charge the controller.
I have like a separate accessory that like holds 2 controllers at the same time, and they charge while the console's off. It's very handy.
Oh, wow, fancy. But speaking of that controller, after a year of using it, again, crazy thing, it's been a year, but how do you feel it contributes to the entire console, the experience, it feeling next gen? Because I feel like it's a pretty big factor.
I think the design is great. It's got some bulk to it. Like when I went back to the PS4 controller felt very weird and light and small.
1000%.
Yeah. I don't want to use the term. I wouldn't use the term compact. They're both compact, I guess. But the PS4 controller is just smaller. How do you like the design or model of design?
Hard designs. No, man, I think it's great. I think it's terrific, and I couldn't agree more with that. I had this very vivid experience and memory of, I think I'd only had the console. I used my PS4, as I'm sure you did, I used it for 6 years. And, I love that console. I think it's a terrific console. And then got the PS5, and I think like literally after 5 days of using that DualSense, I then decided to pick up the DualShock 4 for the first time since. And it was literally only 5 days ago I was using this thing as my main controller. And then suddenly I was like, I couldn't believe it. I felt like, oh wait, I was using this the whole time? It was an eye-opening weird thing where it was light. I wasn't sitting there thinking, God, I use this piece of trash. It wasn't like that. But it was so different. It was just weird.
Yeah, the DualSense was just such a massive. Well, it wasn't massive. It was just a good step up, a logical evolution of the controller. And I might have called the DualShock a DualSense before, so I made that mistake. But
you're good.
How do you feel I've lost the word. The haptic feedback.
But that's the thing for me. That's like, I totally agree. I love the heft of the DualSense. I love the design of it, like you said. Those things are definitely like evolutions, but the haptic feedback is what makes this controller like this is a big deal. And that's the reason why. And of course, the adaptive triggers you roll them into, they're sort of the same thing. But in terms of the controller's internal features, that they market and stuff, and it's terrific. It has so much potential still. By far the best implementation I've ever used with it is Astro's Playroom, the launch game.
Yeah, that.
We might even talk about it a bit more later, but Astro's Playroom is the free game that comes pre-installed on every PlayStation 5. It's there from the start, and it's an absolutely fantastic video game in its own way.
It is very good, surprisingly.
This Astro's Playroom is a video game. It is it's like a 4-hour long game.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a demo. It's a full. It's not. Yes, it is. It is a full video game.
It's a short game, but it's a game. Yeah. It's not a demo.
It counts. Yeah, no other game has really been so ambitious or as ambitious with the haptic feedback as Astro's, and that was just a demo. And so far, it's the best implementation of it. So
by far.
Yeah. So far,
and that makes sense because that was the whole purpose of that demo, was to show off the controller. But it was remarkable. Like and I actually booted up that game for the first time a few weeks ago since I platinumed it, and it's just, I was reminded again of how amazing those features are in that game. Like it's just it's really something that, like, if anyone comes around to my place, I feel like if I think of it, I want to show them that because it's just terrific. The rain effects in one of the levels was so weird. Weirdly good, of course. Yeah. But another thing I wanted to say is with the other PS5 games, a good number of them were cross console, cross generation. So they couldn't really go all out with the haptic feedback because they'd still need to consider the PS4. And with these new PS5
exclusives coming out in 2022 and 2023, that's when they can go hectic or haptic.
Nice. That was a good pun. That was good.
Thanks.
Very well done. I think in terms of the third-party games, at least you have Black Ops Cold War, right? And you've played it on your console.
I didn't enjoy it, but I do have it. Yeah.
Oh wow, brutal. You can get into it in a sec, but in terms of the triggers, I know I've only heard about it because I don't play Call of Duty anymore. But the triggers in that game, I believe, are pretty solid. Right? Is that true in terms of like the gun jamming and reloading and that sort of thing?
It broke one of my controllers. It broke the spare controller.
I've heard about that happening. Was that a situation where the trigger like messes up?
No, it's sort of the right trigger is just incredibly loose now. Because my dad and I played Call of Duty together, and he wanted to play it so much that the controller broke. Not like fully broke. The trigger's just loose. So it's not broken. It's just worn down.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
I decided to turn off the feedback when firing. So now it's just like a normal Call of Duty, like it has been for the past 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so I learnt that the hard way.
No doubt. That sucks. I've heard about different stories like that are, where and that's obviously, as much as I'd like to blame Activision, it's that's obviously a hardware issue with the controller itself. That's not, anyone else's fault. But that sucks. But so I had heard of that particular implementation. Outside of that, like Miles Morales used it very lightly. I think that's a great game, but
yeah, they will definitely expand on that in Spider-Man 2. I hope so. It's just because Miles Morales was on PS4 as well, so they couldn't really go, like I said, just hectic.
Yeah.
I was kind of underwhelmed. Like in the advertising, they said you can feel the tension of the swing.
Yeah, right.
And then it was just like a slight rumble. I did like how the sound of the web came out of the controller speaker. That was a nice addition. But it could have been, and it will be improved upon. So, I'm holding out hope for that.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And then outside of that, I think, like, I played Bug Snacks, and that, I think you used it a little bit when, like, I think when you take photos in that game, like, the camera's sort of a core mechanic. I think when you do that, like, it sort of has a bit of resistance when you press down on the take photo button. I don't know.
Very immersive. Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. That game got 5 stars because of that from me. Yeah. But other than that, though, are there any other key examples that stand out to you in terms of the triggers and the whole feedback in general?
I feel like there's some games that implemented it that I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, there wasn't. I don't think there's honestly much more. But in summary, like, I think the controller's terrific. I'm just really looking forward to see, hopefully, what they can do more of with it in the future and it being implemented, hopefully, to the level of Astros in different things.
That's going off topic again, but this is like one of the things with the PS4, because the touchpad was the big.
That's a great point.
The big marketing ploy, but like it slowly lost its uses. Like with games like, I can't remember them off the top of my head. Like Infamous Second Son, for example, you press on the touchpad to absorb like the different powers, and then as time went on, it was just used as a map button. It wasn't really used as anything.
It was just select.
Exactly. So I really hope I know they're not going to make the haptic feedback the map button, but I hope they don't. They don't just kind of don't innovate on it, I suppose.
Yeah,
I hope they keep using
in the
it
same sort of way.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're totally right. Like I know later in the PS4 generation, like it was like considered a cool thing when Ben for Days Gone were like, oh, if you swipe left on the touchpad,
exactly,
this menu, and like that is cool. Like I don't dislike that, but it's like this isn't necessarily like, I don't know if this justifies having this entire thing on your controller.
I ultimately had to turn that off because, like, in Days Gone, I kept like accidentally my thumb slipped and like opened the map accidentally, so I just turned the swiping thing off.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that. Cool.
Yeah, it was handy.
Indeed.
Was that one? No.
If you want to consider it one, it was really bad.
Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah. Bad pun.
Oh, cool. I mean, the only other thing then, like, I was surprised with all that in mind that they kept the touchpad on the DualSense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. I personally would have expected to see that go, but yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they will do something with it. They've barely tapped the potential of it.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, that covers the sort of the combinations of the hard... Wait, what did you say? Did you say something?
No, nothing. I was just quoting Spider-Man 1. It's fine.
What was the quote?
Like the Norman Osborn one, where he's like 40,000 years of human evolution and we barely tapped the vastness of potential. I can't remember it.
That's such a deep cut. That's such a... Whoa.
Yeah,
Very
that
well
is
done.
a massive going off course, but it's fine. Continue.
Thank you very much. The hardware is covered, I think. The controller, the console.
Yeah.
Let's get into the software in terms of the console itself and the UI and stuff. One of the biggest things, there's a fair bit to break down. At the end of the day, I guess if you just want to surface level, at the top, say that it's fairly similar to PS4. It's improved in some ways, arguably gotten worse in other ways. Actually, I think it's definitely gotten worse in other ways. But, it's just sort of a slick redesign, 2020 redesign, updated version of what that PS4's core functionality is in terms of having, the what do they call it? The cross media bar, that's what they call it, on the front of the screen and that sort of thing, So it's pretty similar in that respect. I don't know. Are you a big themes person? Because I know it's a big deal that this design doesn't really seem... They took them out, and this design, unless it's going to get an overhaul at some point, which it might, really? Like this design doesn't really cater for themes in any way,
No. I don't mind. I didn't really care about my theme. I just used pictures I took in like the photo mode of games.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't mind, honestly.
Sure.
Did you like at all change the color of the PS4? Like how it was like originally blue and you can change it to like red or yellow or something?
Yeah.
Did you ever change that?
I did. And you know what? I changed it to like, there's a lighter blue option. I changed it to lighter.
Yeah. I couldn't stand any of the other colors. It was too much.
Yeah,
like not because it's just because I was so used to the blue and it just looked weird. But yeah, sorry, I keep interrupting you and then going, of course. So you were saying something about themes?
Oh, like I'm with you. Like I'm not the biggest theme person. Like I said, like I just used a slight color variation of the defaults on PS4, So, but I like that they're there. I just like knowing that I can use them if I wanted to, I guess.
Yeah.
But this situation isn't yet anyway anything near as humiliating as the theme situation on Switch. Do you know about that?
No, I don't know.
On Switch, right? I just want to explain it to you because I think it's hilarious. On Switch, there is and since the launch of the console 4 years ago, in the settings, there is an option called themes, and you click on it, and all there is black and white, and that is all there has been for over 4 years. And it's like, why is there an option for themes if you're not going to add them? And so everyone was obviously like back in the day, like, oh yeah, they're going to add themes at some point. Just hasn't happened yet. Just hasn't happened. It's
I don't know.
funny.
Dark mode and light mode. Perfectly fine.
But why is it called themes then? Like, it's so
Dark
weird.
Theme and light theme.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. That's all you get. It's so weird. It's so weird. But one of the other main things I think the UI greatly improves upon from PS4, and I think, the SSD of the console can probably enhance this and make this possible, is the PlayStation Store. And I just love how on the PlayStation 5, you go over to the PlayStation Store. It's in the exact same spot it was on PS4, but you go there and it doesn't have to load. Like, it's not... When you load it on PS4, it's like a different application that has to load. And in the last days, I don't know about you, but in my last days of the PS4, dude, that sometimes took 1 or 2 minutes. It was ridiculous.
Staring at those shifting shapes for like a solid minute,
Please wait, we know it all too well. So no, it's much slicker here on PS5, and you go right over to it, and there's no waiting. You're in the store. It's great, and then you go straight back out from the store. You don't have to, like, if you want to go back into the store, it doesn't have to load again or anything like that. So I don't know. That's kind of it's just a small quality of life thing that I really liked about it, I think.
Yeah. Anything else?
Are there other
about the SSD?
I'll get into more of that later. But just in terms of the UI, like, are there UI features that stand out to you on the console, or as being either great or weird or anything?
They were just pretty much quality of life improvements. It's far more like easy to navigate than the PS4. Oh, is it? I don't know. Both of them are. Neither of them are difficult to grasp.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not opposed to the PS5's UI or the PS4's for that fact.
Yeah.
No, I've no idea. It doesn't matter. Like, it's like the design of the console. It doesn't matter to me. Because I'll be looking at it for like less than 30 seconds while I decide which game to boot up. So
that's true.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
But moving away from just like the looks of it, that is true. Yeah. Like, the way it functions, I do have some issues with. I think, I think in isolation, like, I think the PS4 functions great. I think in isolation, the PS5 does too. The problem is that when you're going from one to the other, like, I'm sure a large portion of owners of PS5s go from PS4 to PS5. There's a lot of muscle memory that you just have to relearn for no reason. Like, it took me months to get used to the fact, and honestly, I still sometimes screw it up. It took me months to get used to the fact that on the PS5, holding the PlayStation button does the opposite of what it used to do for no reason.
Yeah,
the fact you can't even switch it is pretty frustrating. Like, it's just one of those little things where I'm so used to on PS4 for 6 years. You hold the PlayStation button, that gives you the quick menu. You press the PlayStation button, it gets you the home menu. It's reversed I've got no idea why, but it is. And that's just one of those small little things. They recently updated the console. I don't know if you've messed around with this. Oh, you might not have been able to mess around with this. Your console might have been gone since they did this. I don't know. But they updated it with one of the more recent firmwares to, you can now actually move around everything on the control panel. You know how you click the button once, the PlayStation button, and you get all your options down the bottom, and that's where the power and the profile and the friends list and all that shit is.
Yeah.
You can now actually fully customize it. Before, you used to be able to sort of turn things off and on a little bit, but now, like, you can move the power button wherever you want. So the first thing I did, because it infuriated me that by default, the power button's like the furthest to the right on the screen that you can get. Again, don't know what the hell the point of that was. You can now just, I moved it straight over to the left, all the way to the left. So power button is, in the first world problems, like, it's a half a second easier to access. So I appreciate them making those minor improvements, and I'm sure they'll continue to make other improvements as well. You are, I don't know, would you consider yourself a trophy hunter? Probably not. I don't know.
Not particularly. I don't know. Like, the way I get platinum trophies is in games that, one, I enjoy, and two, I'm just close to getting it. Like, if I'm like 80% plus on any game, well, any game that I enjoy, I'll go for it. It majorly depends on if I enjoy the game. Like, Spider-Man PS4, I did go for the trophy from the first day I bought it. But other games, it's just kind of been, I'm at 76%, I might as well.
Yeah.
Is that at all similar to how you do it, or are you specifically like, I need to get this platinum trophy?
Yeah,
well, not need to, but...
No, I know what you mean. I would say I'm somewhere, I'd say I'm pretty much in the middle of you and, like, say, a hardcore trophy hunter, There are people that completely determine what they play based on trophies, that replay games many times, that do crazy plan everything out, and will grind for hours in multiplayer modes. And there are great. I dabble in these communities because I think they're a lot of fun, but there are plenty of trophy communities out there that where what they do is they help other people get platinums that are hard because of multiplayer trophies, and they sit for hours in lobbies with strangers so they can all work together and get these obnoxious trophies that are like 300 headshots in multiplayer matches, like all that kind of shit, and they all help each other get it. I'm not there at all. Like, I'm not doing that, but I'm probably a step up from you where I'm not, I've got 20 platinums. It's nothing crazy, but it's also far beyond the casual gamer, so it's like, I'm different from you in that it's not just things that I'm close to getting, like I definitely will go out of my way to get platinums, but I'm similar to you. It's only in games I like, and only in doing things that are reasonable. I'm not grinding anything. I'm not replaying games. I'm not playing games on the hardest difficulty, with few exception. So just, I really enjoy trophy hunting. I just don't do anything crazy, which I know a lot of people consider sort of part of the fun, is like doing all this crazy shit and find it really rewarding. Once they beat, I don't know, bloody Uncharted 4 5 times on all these different things, So yeah, I'm sort of in that. But in terms of the PlayStation 5 itself, I just wanted to ask, because I know they recently changed the trophies and now you can view them vertically, which is such like that's such a minor thing. But we're a hardcore PlayStation podcast, that's what we're going to break it all down. And that's like
hardcore.
Talk for
this is hardcore.
Yourself, mate. This is hardcore right here,
wow.
bro. I don't know what to tell you. Breaking news, but we're hardcore gamers. How does that feel?
No, I was going to say, when you mentioned like ridiculous trophies, I would go for the platinum trophy for Red Dead Redemption 2, but considering...
But you're not insane?
Like 30 to 40% of the trophies are online, no, that's not happening. I'm not that determined to get the platinum trophy. But
I appreciate that. And you got through it very well. You audibly cringed when I said hardcore gamer. I really appreciate that. I actually heard that. That was great. Which was my intent, by the way. But
okay, cool.
You just so you know.
I thought you used it unironically.
No, God, no. Oh my God.
Okay,
that's the worst. That's the worst.
Yeah.
What have you been playing on your PS5, or what did you play on your PS5?
On my PS5.
In terms of, and I mean specifically, I'm using this as a bit of a transition to get into like backwards compatibility and upgrades and that thing you wanted to bring out, which is a great topic. But how are you dividing your time between native PS5 games and using backwards compatibility?
Like the only main PS5 exclusives I played were nothing. I was going to say Miles Morales, but that's not really a PS5 exclusive. So literally nothing. Most of the stuff I played on not most. All of the stuff I played on PS5 was backwards compatible.
I think I'm the same. I mean Astro's Playroom, of course.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. I'll use the term most of the games I played.
Yeah, there's other games that there are PS5 exclusive games, no doubt, and I want to over the coming years I'll probably get into those. I'm not in a rush to play a lot of these games. I want to get into Ratchet and Clank probably in the next few months. But I didn't.
Is Ratchet and Clank
launch
a PS5 exclusive?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so. Yeah. Well, there's not many really coming out. Like we just mentioned, Ratchet and Clank, and like. Was Returnal a PS5 exclusive? I never played that or anything.
Yeah,
was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. There's just not many at the moment. There will be in the years to come, but right now it's kind of take what you can get in terms of exclusives.
So then, there's not a lot of exclusives, but in terms of native PS5 games, right, or like playing the native version, because you brought up Miles, absolutely. These games are all enhanced for PlayStation 5, and their exclusive versions are much better on the console, which is you know, part of the big reason to get a PS5 at this point. Like we said, you're not buying a PS5 at this point for, you know, the amazing 5 exclusive games it has, you know. It's just not there yet. But, you know, I played Miles, absolutely. I played almost 60 hours of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. PS5 version.
Definitely. Because in the select screen in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it showed hours, right?
Yes, it does. Yeah, when you're like...
Yeah. Like, from what I remember, it was like 170 plus. I spent a hell of a lot of time in that game.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you were playing the PS5 version?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Actually, you know what? I brought up Valhalla. That's actually the one game here that I forgot we've both played. So I'm glad. You're the only person I've ever spoken to who's played it. So I'm very glad about it.
Really? Yeah. Did you enjoy it? Yeah.
I think it's got a lot of issues, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah. I didn't spend a single cent on microtransactions for Valhalla.
No, definitely not.
No, disgusting. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in it. I got the I spent enough time in there to get Excalibur and Mjolnir, which you know, yeah, pretty groovy.
It's pretty sick.
I
definitely did not.
What did you say?
That's pretty sick.
Pretty sick? Yeah. Okay.
It's pretty sick, bro. I definitely did not do that at all.
It's a pain in the butt. Oh, is it? Yeah, it's a little pain.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I'm aware that it is, and I played. Dude, I was like, again, I enjoyed it, but like, I was so done with it. And I don't even. You played 100 more hours than me. I was so done with it. I was like, dude, this shit never ends.
I hated the idea that you had to like take over the entire country by doing the exact same stuff. I hated every single storyline where you had to go back to like, what's the place called?
Ravensthorpe.
Raisins.
Ravensthorpe.
There we go.
Very good.
Yeah, I hated that so much.
The reason I wanted to bring up Valhalla is because it was the first game, like, you know, I played Miles, and Miles, of course, on PS5 runs at a smooth 60, of course. But in terms of frame rate, like PS4, you know, I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I'm a big open world RPG person, and you know, I played the entire PS4 generation firmly 30 frames in everything I played. You know, there were no PS4 games, open world games running at 60 frames. So I wanted to bring up Valhalla specifically because it was that biggest example for me right off the bat with the console of experiencing open world, flawless 60 frames, really great load times. Like that was, even though that game was playable on PS4 perfectly fine, like it was the perfect like next gen feeling experience. Like it felt like this is clearly like an upgrade, and all those features that everyone talks about being in the next gen consoles, I was experiencing them all sort of for the first time, and I was like, you know, this isn't the end of the world. Like I wouldn't necessarily recommend everyone go and spend, or probably most people go and spend, you know, money on the console just for this by any means. But it's good. It was cool. It was a cool experience, you know, going through the game that way, I think.
I love the inclusion of performance RT, which is like a nice blend of them both, of 60 FPS and ray tracing. I really hope more games introduce that. It's such a nice feature. Yeah, it's a feature.
It's a feature. So you're talking about PS5 games. Most PS5 games have, and lots of PS4 Pro games do too, but the graphic options in the settings there, you can often switch between, you know, how much you want to prioritize resolution and frame rate. So you can have like, you know, a locked 60 or a full 4K, or, you know, you can mess around with it.
Like I apparently I've heard that people play games like during exploration and cutscenes, they do like pure 4K, and then during like fighting and like more gameplay heavy situations, they switch to the 60 FPS, which I feel like would be a little pain in the behind, going to the menus and switching it constantly.
Absolutely. That's cool on paper, but I'm not doing that. Like, that sounds like a
No. It completely interrupt it. Oh, a cutscene's coming up. We're going to go into the menu and then scroll through thousands of options. Not thousands. That's a bit hyperbolic.
A lot of options. Yeah, I get you. But in terms of, I agree. Like, obviously, the ray tracing 60 frames options when they're available in certain games is a no-brainer because normally, or at least traditionally, you're sort of choosing between one or the other. Do you want the ray tracing? Do you want the 60 frames? How often do you feel like the SSD is one of the big things they market, of course, outside of the controller, which for those who don't know, it's just an SSD is just it's a solid state drive, right? So it's just it's a newer, improved hard drive, I guess, is the gist of it. So it essentially just allows for significantly improved load times.
And like what you mentioned way earlier, like even it goes to it. Sorry, it applies even to the PlayStation Store. It's
yes.
It affects everything really, and it makes it just so much more seamless. It makes everything more seamless. It's a nice. I'm going to use the F word again. It's a nice feature.
Whoa, watch it there. We might get demonetized.
You might have to censor that.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt the console, the entire experience was designed around that. No doubt.
Yeah.
But how often do you notice it? Because my experience is honestly mixed. Like, and maybe it's a situation where, like, if you were to compare the PS4 and PS5 versions of the game side by side, like, there is a clear difference. But often, I don't notice as big a difference as I think I might. You know,
and maybe that's times?
Me. Yeah, and maybe that's me just like having rose-tinted glasses towards PS4. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely, like, with going back to Miles Morales. Like, I'm sure you noticed the loading times, right? Like how fast they are. They're
very fast in that game. That and Astros are my two standouts. I think so. And then outside of that, it gets a bit more hit or miss.
Yeah, Valhalla it wasn't very fast at all. Like it had those loading screens where you could walk around. It wasn't very fast.
No, but that's very true, and that's a situation where I've no doubt if the PS4 version is like a minute longer.
Yeah, I think the Ghost of Tsushima upgrade for the PS5 those loading times are instant as well, or that might just be the director's cut. I think.
Yeah. I played. That's so funny you brought that up. I actually played. Have you played Iki Island, the expansion they released a few months ago?
No, I'm gonna get it when I get the PS5 back.
Yeah,
or
sure.
Get to the PS5.
Yeah, that's right. I played through that earlier this year, and it's funny. The native PS5 version of the director's cut I've seen online. Like the load times are instant to the point where like nothing actually comes up on screen. Like it just fades to black and fades straight back in.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I played because you have to pay an extra 15 Australian dollars for the PS5 native version of the director's cut. I just upgraded the PS4 version of the director's cut. I just upgraded to the PS4 version of the director's cut and played it on my PS5. You know what I mean? So, which you can totally do. And that's what I did. And you still get access to 60 frames and 4K and all that. So I was like, dude, I'm just doing that. Like the only thing I missed out on was the controller options, the haptic feedback and stuff. And I was like, I'm not paying. I'm essentially paying $15 for haptic feedback. I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
But the load times in my version of Ghost, they still had the load screens that the PS4 version had. Like they would still come up, but much briefer, and they were already brief on PS4. So it's a situation where like the white load screen would come up maybe for 2 seconds, you know. Okay, so have you had any issues with your console at all? And I just want to bring this up very quickly to say that I have noticed issues with my console. And I want to know first if you have.
I'm sorry, you cut out for like the briefest second. And so instead of issues, all I heard was shoes. So I was very confused.
Do you have any shoes with your console? Did your console come with DualSense shoes? That'd be cool.
That'd be very cool. No, just the like Call of Duty ruining the controller. Apart from that,
that's a huge one. That's a huge one. That is,
yeah. I don't know. I'll just blame Activision.
Why not?
Yeah. No, but apart from that, nothing huge. No problems.
Okay, good. I've noticed minor things, like there was something dodgy going on with my my USB port on the front of the console. Like the USB-C to USB cord that came with the console didn't actually work to charge the controller. So
really?
But I used it. I used another one. Like I had another. We've got tons of cables lying around. I used another one that I already owned, not the one that came with it, and that works. Which is the weirdest. It's bizarre. I don't know why. That's obviously such a minor thing, but it was like, why? And just my console just constantly has internet issues. It's not never the end of the world, but like very frequently. Like the internet will take a second to kick in when I turn it on. In a way, the PS4 never had this issue, and the speeds are noticeably slower, which is bizarre. Like I'll do it. You know how you can do a speed test directly on the console?
Yeah.
I do that, and I know how fast my internet is generally on every other device I use, and it's just slower on the console for no reason that I can understand. And on PS4, like that was never a thing. It's some weird little like unexplainable to me, like just little quirks with the console.
Maybe you have to put it up higher and vertically get it up. Better signal.
Staple it to the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll work. I mean, it's ironic, isn't it, that a console that looks like a router can't really connect to the router super well. No. At least for me. Sorry, go for it.
Are you like happy with it being like a white console? Would you have preferred it to be black or?
No, I'm okay with it being white. Like, because the whiteness of it is just it's just the plastic covers on it. You can just I've taken them off myself multiple times, and I know there are like some third party options. You can go to different websites and buy like black covers if you want.
Yeah.
I'm not really up for that personally, but if Sony were to release official plates, that'd be cool. I don't know that they will, but I'd consider like, I don't know, spicing it up a little bit. But to answer your question, my PS4, my base PS4 was white too. Like I like white consoles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know they get dirtier easier, or not literally, but you can see dirt on them easier. I just kind of like white. It's kind of sleek.
Okay. No, I don't mind the white either. I'd maybe consider picking up a black controller to replace the broken one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, because they've released those, haven't they? I've seen black and red ones.
Yeah, they have. That black controller, I mean, the red one looks good too. That black controller is sexy in my opinion. That's a good controller.
It is sleek. What do you think of the quality of the power button on the PS5? Do you like the... It does have a manual turning off button, right? I never use it. I just use the quick menu one.
Yeah,
it does have that, right?
Yeah,
of course it would.
Yeah, it does. And it's okay. It's okay. But I appreciate that. Hey, this is a video. This is a show all about reviewing the console itself. So this is the nitty-gritty stuff I do want to get into. That's a good one to bring up.
Okay, sure.
The button, it's okay. Like, look, it's an improvement over the base PS4 having those. I hate those friggin'. I think everyone hates them, to be honest. But those friggin' the touch sensor buttons, I hate that shit, dude. That shit sucks.
Yeah.
Like, and you always hit the wrong one, or you accidentally lean on it, or some shit. For me, anyway, when I dust my console, I always turn it on. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I hate that shit. So that I'm glad they got rid of those and they're actual buttons. But in terms of the quality of the buttons, I don't know. Like the I know you have the slim PS4. That's some buttons. That's what I like. I like those buttons.
Yeah.
Those are some actual, like, they got a bit of, I don't know, they got a bit of, dare I say, heft?
Like, no. I'm genuinely amazed how you turned this into a talking point. That's incredible.
Did you
well
throw that
done.
at me ironically? And
that was
I just
a
went
joke.
With it?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I totally fell for that. But as I proved, I can go on about it. You are
a what's the term you used before? A
hardcore gamer.
PS4 gamer, yes.
Yeah. Just embrace it, dude. Just embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're in the position where we're recording this in November 2021, a year after the console, of course, and came out. And this holiday season, there's not much going on for PS5 at all. This is Xbox's time. Right.
Yeah.
And by time, I mean like literally now, like within the next 2 months is their time. And then Horizon comes out in February and we'll all rejoice at that time.
Yeah, but PS5 is gonna hit pretty hard next year with God of War Ragnarok and, as you just said, Horizon.
No doubt.
It's gonna... I never played the original Horizon Zero Dawn though.
Whoa, really?
I think it was free one time and I was thinking of picking it up.
Hey,
no, it might not have been free.
No, it's 100% been free. Did you not get it while it was free?
No, I just like I saw someone mention it like the day after it went off sale.
You missed out.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Dude, you're gonna love that game. You should totally play it before Forbidden West. I think that'd be awesome. To end this, let's end it on a simple question about the console. We've talked about the games in the future, the games that have come out this past year, the features, all that. Well, you listened. You know what we talked about. But I wanted to ask you, Daniel, if there's one thing that excites you most about the future of the console, what is it? If you can pinpoint it.
Spider-Man 2. I know it's not really related directly to the console.
I said anything.
But I'm excited to what they'll do with the DualSense. I have a feeling it's going to go like ballistic when they introduce the black suit. It's going to be great.
That's a great point. I can see the controller freaking out on that one.
Yeah. I really hope they like take a page out of Astro's book and just go for it. Like, especially since it's a PS5 exclusive, there's nothing really holding it back. They don't have to consider the PS4 users. But it'll release in 2023, so there might be other games that implement the haptic feedback, and they're like, that worked well, we could use that.
Yeah, sure, no, absolutely. For me, I mean, of course it's the games. I mean, in terms of the features and stuff, it's what we talked about already with the haptic feedback. I want to see something else in the years to come hit Astro's level with it. Be wowed again on that level. Which, to be honest, I'm not overly confident that I will be, just knowing, again, you brought up the touchpad, which is a terrific comparison.
Yeah.
But hopefully that does happen. But in terms of the games, it's just, I'm just looking forward to the true capital TRUE experiences, the next-gen experiences from Sony Studios, 2023 and on, That's what I'm looking at. Because if you look back at PS4's generation, PS4 was a terrific generation of exclusives, but that really only kicked into high gear in 2016. That was 3 years after the console came out. So if you look at 2023 as sort of a similar timeline, and that makes sense, already lines up perfectly with Spider-Man 2's release date. 2023, I think, is when we're going to be really, really well and truly into the next generation in terms of, God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West both coming to PS4. That'll be over and done with by that time.
Do you think Ragnarok will introduce some form of haptic feedback? Like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do.
Like, with, like, throwing and retrieving the Leviathan. Oh, God, here I go again. Leviathan, there we go, axe. And something to do with the Blades of Chaos. I'm sure something will be introduced.
No,
and the same in
totally.
Horizon.
Dude. Horizon's going to have the bow and arrow tension, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. So you said... you said you didn't experience it. How they introduced the same bow tension in Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah.
No, I did not experience that. No, because I was too cheap.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah, that's literally it though. Yeah. So no, I'll experience that in Horizon. Hopefully it's great. I think it will be.
Sure. Or you could just shoot a real bow. I'm sure that's got some feedback to it.
Oh my God!
Not at people, at targets ideally, but
yeah.
Don't know why I said but. Please don't shoot people.
No,
with bows.
Don't give me or anyone else out there any ideas, Daniel. That's a terrible idea.
That's not an idea. I'm not condoning that. I was against that. You heard me. I said don't do that.
Yeah, but you brought it up, you know. You brought it up. I don't know.
God, it's going back to the Red Dead 2 thing where I murdered people after a game of poker. I'm not a psychopath. I swear. I'm not.
I think I very deliberately left that in the episode too, just so people could really see that for a little while.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.